Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to number 333. This video is dedicated to helping you guys be able to outsource better. This is the third part of this series. The first couple parts, we've been breaking down your data and your tools. This is the third part that I'm most excited about because this is what is going to set you apart. This is going to give you the competitive advantage that you've been after in your business. Like, what is the differentiating factor when we all have similar data, when we all have similar tools? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video here today. A lot of people struggle when it comes to cold calling and outsourcing when it comes to virtual assistants. I don't want you guys to be one of them. Hopefully, you'll be able to find the content that meets you wherever you're at here on this channel. And if you do, if you like this video, you like this content, just want to ask you guys, like it and maybe consider subscribing. So head over to the channel and hit subscribe if you do like this stuff. Okay, so let's hop right in and let's talk a little bit more about what we're doing here today. So on previous videos, guys, we have been breaking down the three parts of outsourcing success. Okay, so we've discussed this part down here on the left hand side. We've talked about data, right? This was this section here where we talked about, okay, you need to have quality data, you need to make sure it's niche, you need to make sure it's verified. If you missed that video, that was part one. I think that was 331. The next part, we talked about tools. If you missed that video, that's 332. The one right before this, that's part two. We broke down in detail how to have good phone numbers, how to monitor your available time, and keeping track of your recycle count. Now, part three is probably the most important, like I was saying, and this is going to be your biggest competitive advantage in a very competitive marketplace. And that is the people who work within your organization. The goal is for you to be able to get to the point where you can outsource the things that are not your highest leverage activities. If you're just getting started, you need people to help you get to the point where you can focus on closing deals. In real estate investing, closing deals and talking to sellers is the most important thing you could be doing. So anything outside of that is a waste of your time. So let's break down the people aspect so you can have predictable rock stars within your business that's going to be staying with you for a really long time. That's what we care about. I want to hire people. I want to pour into people that can be loyal and be with me for a very long time. This is how you do it, guys. So I'm going to write here in the third part, this is people. Okay, so just like our previous videos, there's three parts to the people equation. Okay, we'll draw another triangle. So here under the people equation, the foundation for having rock stars and great people within your teams is going to come down to number one, culture. Okay, and I'm going to break these down one by one as we go along. Culture. The second part of this system is going to be development. Okay. And the third part of this system is going to be management. So let's look at the first leg first. Culture. Culture is not just a zing word, guys. How do you implement culture in the very beginning? The first thing you do when it comes to culture is you have what we call a 30-day agreement. Okay. So with whoever you talk to, whoever you hire within your company, you have a 30-day agreement with that person. Okay. So what does that look like? All right, Mr. Virtual Assistant or Mrs. Virtual Assistant, I'm excited to have you here in this company. Over the next 30 days, I am going to make an agreement to you that I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to do the best I can to put you in a position to win. I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that you have all the tools necessary, all the data necessary that you're going to be able to do your job. I can't keep you accountable to your job if I'm not doing my part. Agreements work both ways, right? This isn't a contract. This isn't expectations. Culture is an agreement. Hey, man, we're going to play by the same rules. I'm going to do the best I can. And likewise, you're going to do the best you can. So I implore you guys, if you haven't already got my culture document, comment on this video or shoot me a DM on Instagram, @MatthewBeard_. I can give you our culture document. It's been super helpful to help myself and also other businesses identify what matters to them and what they want their culture to look like within their company. But ultimately, it starts with this. It starts with having a 30-day agreement. And guess what? It's a super easy conversation. Has anyone ever kept someone in their company for way too long? Maybe maybe even just like a relationship in your life that you feel like, man, I should not have kept this person in my life for this long. And it really comes down to our agreements. It comes down to, did I set a table? Did I set myself up for failure? Right? Or did I set myself up to win? And when you have an agreement in place, a 30-day, even if it's verbal, it doesn't have to be written, you both are on the same page of what's expected of each other, right? So if one or the other isn't playing by the rules, guess what? It's a super easy conversation. We just had VAs quit this past week from our brand new hires because I laid out the foundation. I'm like, hey, this is a 30-day agreement. It's okay if we go through this. And man, if you're not the right fit with us and you feel like this isn't, suit you and you're like, man, I didn't sign up for this, that's okay. Let me know now so I can go hire someone else. But over the next 30 days, this is what I'm going to do. And guess what? 2 of the 4 quit. They're like, yeah, I don't think this is the right thing for me. And that's okay. I have no hard feelings. I'd much rather them quit early on because the conversation was had rather than them spend 30 days of my time and my money to eventually get to the point where they just don't want to work anymore. Or they just like no show, right? That's how you do it, guys. You start when it comes to culture, you have to lay the foundation for your company. People have to know that they're doing the right things, right? So I highly recommend you getting my culture document if you don't know what your culture is or what you want it to look like, okay? Have a 30-day agreement, and that's how you implement it. You implement it from the very beginning. The second part to managing people is your development, right? And there's many different ways you can approach development. I would recommend the first thing you do is you record everything, right? So when I meet with my virtual assistants, it gets recorded. Whenever we have any training moments or any good or bad call recordings, it gets recorded and stored somewhere. You can use Google Drive. So I'm just going to put G Drive because that's a free resource. Or you can use, I personally like putting a lot of my recordings in Kajabi because it makes little mini modules for newer VAs as they come on. And also our team can hop in and go through the modules themselves if they want to go back for professional development. Okay. But we record everything, any meeting that I have, any call recordings, good and bad. That's a part of our development process, right? We pull a good and bad call recording every single day. And I have my VAs fill out a form every single day with what was one of the toughest objections that you had to handle today? What was one thing that you had to handle today that you couldn't overcome? And basically you get to the point where you have like every single objection you could possibly answer all in one place. So whether that be Google Drive, Kajabi, Trainual, whatever, Google Classroom, whatever you do, record everything. The second part of your development that's going to really help your VA is to do your call calibrations, okay? So your call calibration, this needs to happen 1 time per week, okay? So that's where you actually pull those good and bad call recordings, the one that you have a library of, and you play them together as a group, even if it's just you and your VA or you and your VA and you have a CSM from Start Virtual. You play those together as a group and you give coaching and feedback, okay? Huge learning thing. It's not just how they pitch the recording. It's not just how they pitch the script, how they do those things. They implement it. And I can hear what they actually sound like on the phone when I do the call calibration. I give them coaching, and it's up to them to implement the things they learned, right? And then how do I make sure that they implement it and they actually understand what I'm coaching them? We do role play, okay? So after we do the call calibration, we do role playing. So I want to make sure they implement what they learn, right? And that role playing happens on the call calibration one time a week as a group, but they do it daily within the team. So if you have a CSM and you have a VA with Start Virtual, they can role play with their CSM every single day to make sure that they're getting developed. And guess what? You better record it. So that way, God forbid, you either have to replace your virtual assistant, which happens, or you go to hire 4 or 5 new virtual assistants because your business is growing. It's great to have a foundation for development for your VAs, that VA number 5 or 6 or new team members that come in, even Americans, wherever they're at, they have the resources to be successful. So development's super important, and this is how you do it, okay? So you've laid the foundation. You have your 30-day agreement in place. You have your development in place. You have you recorded everything. You've been doing your call calibrations. You've been doing your role playing. And then the last leg that we talked about here is on the management side. So on the management, it comes down to very simple. We track their time. All of our VAs get managed, and their time gets tracked by a software that we use called Time Doctor. Okay. So we track all of our VA's time, screenshots, mouse activity, everything gets tracked through Time Doctor. Okay. So if you guys are trying to hire your own virtual assistant, this is a route that you can go. If you're using Start Virtual, we do this part for you, right? But we monitor their time using Time Doctor. They only get paid on the time they clock in and clock out. It's that simple. But then on a daily basis, we do a huddle, and we do huddle daily. And if you guys have seen any of my stuff here on my channel, you know what we do on these huddles. Attitude of gratitude, appreciation. Hey, what is something you're grateful for? What is something you love about your life? And then we'll talk a little bit about business. But this huddle that happens daily is a 15-minute standing meeting. Okay. Doesn't need to be 30 minutes, doesn't need to be 45 minutes. We try to get in and get out. If I can get it done in 5 to 10 minutes, we will. But the management happens by us consistently checking in with our teams. And we do that every single day. And we check our time using Time Doctor. So there's like no doubt that they're actually doing what they say they're supposed to be doing. Of course, it manifests itself in many different ways. If a VA is not getting any leads, I will make sure that they're actually doing their part. And if I can go back and say, yeah, they're clocking in, they're implementing the things that they're learning, but they haven't pushed any leads yet, okay, maybe I need to spend some more one-on-one time with them. But I check the things that I can. So when it comes to managing your people and you guys are building a big company or you're wanting to build your company from the ground up, it starts with culture. People have got to see that there's a future within your organization and you have a vision. You have a plan and something that they can grow within. This is huge, right? So when it comes to outsourcing, the people part, culture is the foundation. Then it comes down to developing them, recording everything and doing your call calibrations. That needs to happen always, once a week. Do your role playing. And then, of course, the management side, we track their time and we do our daily huddles. So, guys, this is the reason why people really struggle with outsourcing. Maybe on this short 3-part series, you realize there's a lot more to it than just pulling a list. Maybe you learned there's a lot more to it than just hiring a virtual assistant and hoping for the best, because that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of pieces to this thing, especially if you want to win at a very, very, very high level. You want to be more successful than most. Most people will spend a bunch of money, they'll buy a big list, pay for a few VAs, and they'll get a deal or two. But guess what? That deal cost them $8,000, $10,000 per deal. Everyone talks about how big those checks are. No one talks about how much money you're actually taking home. And this is how you do it. You want to make more money per deal. You want to keep track of your expenses. You want to get the most out of your system. There's 3 pieces to it. You got your data, you got your tools, you got your people. So guys, hopefully you got some value from this series. Hopefully you got some value from this video today. If you did, I love to see what part of this are you not implementing right now? And after you watch these videos, what are you going to start implementing right now in your business? Comment on this video. If you need any support, you know where to find me, Matthew Beard _ on Instagram. Of course, we've been doing one-on-one. So if you don't have the one-on-one Calendly link, drop a comment on this video. I'll make sure that I comment and give you that link so we can link up and do some one-on-ones. We've been doing 6 of them a week. It's been really cool. I can't wait to start sharing those with you guys, probably via shorts. So either way, guys, I appreciate you so much for coming and hanging out. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, please like it, please share it. Of course, subscribe if it makes sense and you guys like this stuff. So have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Bye.